Episode 7 of Zoom Zoom Earworm is dedicated to Laquita Burt.
TheUrbanEarworm.com.
And then sometimes I'll wild card it up. You like Fruity Pebbles or Apple Jacks.
Hey, Fruity Pebbles. I'm always been into the Fruity Pebbles. Always. That's my shit. Love it. I like Captain Crunch.
Yeah, it's more like a snack than it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crunch is good. I feel like they changed the fucking, I don't know, the formula or something with that. Because I feel like they did the same thing with honeycomb for a while. Like, they had like new and improved honeycomb, and then that shit was, I don't know, it wasn't good. And now it's back to normal, so I could buy honeycomb again.
Right, yeah. I mean, I haven't got Captain Crunch in a minite, but we got a box of Fruity Pebbles in the cabinet right now. The shit's fire. Love it.
Can't beat it, man.
Yeah. But go ahead and introduce yourself, dude. Like say your name and where you're living and all that.
Yeah. So my name Cody, go by Cody DeCamry. From Chicago, living out in Olympia Fields at the moment. Lived a few different places through America. Most recently, before this, I was in Brooklyn. So, definitely more of a big city guy. And yeah.
Word. I almost forgot that you spent some time in New York.
Yeah, man.
Dude, like, I don't know, I feel like time just been flying by the last couple of years. Like ever since everybody moved out of the Sheffield crib, it's like everything I feel like is kind of like just one big blur. Like one long year. You know what I mean? Like it's only been a year since we moved out. Like
no. Try like going on 5 now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I don't know. It's been tough with this whole pandemic shit, but like been trying to make the most of it and trying to stay positive and all that shit. So
yeah.
But so explain the name Cody DeCamry. How'd you get that name? Is there any significance behind that? Or you got a story?
So I wouldn't say like anything like significant. So like when I first started making music, I was strictly just doing production. I wasn't rapping or doing anything like that. And just making beats and things like that. And so my original producer's name was Gary Bertier, kind of like from the dude from Remember the Titans. And I kind of like had like this whole like I was working on like a Remember the Titans like drop. And it's real close to like my government name, Garrett Burt. And so that's what I was going by. But when I had started making when I made a decision I was gonna rap, I was just like, Gary doesn't sound like a good rapper's name. Like, who wants to be fucking Gary the rapper? So I was just thinking back to like things that sounded cool. And I remember this time back in high school, I was talking to my friend Amjad, and Amjad talked very funny. He used to put like a lot of different emphasis on words that didn't necessarily need to be there and stuff like that. And just like this random time popped into my head where we were all smoking and I was describing a music video to him that I had just saw. And I was like, dang, what's the name of this band? And he was like, oh yeah, bro, like I know this band, bro. It's Cody DeCamry. And I was like, what did you say? He was like, Cody DeCamry. And I was like, huh. And it turns out he was saying Cody and Cambria. And so when I was just, like I said, like I was sitting around thinking of names and things again, and that had popped into my name. And I was like, Cody DeCamry, Cody DeCamry. And I was like, Cody DeCamry. And so that's how I got there. So.
Damn, that's cool as shit. I didn't know that. I never heard this story before. So that's cool, dude, because I like Cody DeCamry. That's a fucking good ass band, dude. Like Good Eye Sniper. That shit. That shit bang. Yeah. Fucking love that shit, dude. That's cool. That's because like that's a good story, you know. Like I don't know, that's a good way to get your name. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Dig it.
And you want to know what else is funny too? Like the music video I described, it wasn't even a Cody DeCamry music video. It was Silver Sun Pickups. I don't know if you remember them.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know
Yeah,
the Silver Sun Pickups, but hey, shit, that's they're a good band too. So,
exactly.
but
So
you know, that's around the same kind of type of music. So,
exactly.
but how long have you been making music?
Um, so I first, like I said, got into producing and stuff back in like 2005, like my sophomore year in high school. And then I started rapping around 2010 personally. But I also, I've been into music forever pretty much. So I played saxophone, started playing saxophone back when I was in like third grade. So that was, I don't even know, that was in the 90s. I can't even remember the year that was. Probably like 98 when I
Damn,
started playing sax.
what happened with the saxophone? Why'd you stop playing it?
So I played all the way up through like college and stuff. Like I went to first years of college, I was in marching band, doing all type of stuff, played jazz band, and I don't know. I went and I sold my saxophone to get my first apartment. That's honestly what happened. Um, I needed to get out of my house, and I was, asked for some support. And my mom was like, like if you want to like go ahead and like make this move and stuff, like you got to make sacrifices in your life. You got to decide what's important and stuff to you. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. And I just made the decision. I was like, I'm gonna sell my sax. I know I could get some money for it, and to help me get my first place.
That's tough, dude. But I mean, like like your mom said, like you got to make some sacrifices, and like obviously, I'm sure things ended up. You were happy with the decision that you made, and you were able to, move into your own place and
Yeah,
have your first apartment. So that's pretty cool. But it's kind of sad having to give up the sax. But maybe one day
yeah. It was
you'll pick it back up or some shit.
yeah. It was almost like a transitional period where you leave something old behind to start embracing something new. Because even the spot that I moved into was me and my homies, and we ended up building out a studio and stuff. And I was making a bunch of music at the time, so it wasn't like music had disappeared from my life as much as it just transferred to the next stage. But I've honestly, like recently, I've been thinking, I was like, man, I got to get a sax again, because I've been listening to just more jazz recently, and I don't know, more instrumental music, and it's just been hitting me. I was like, I kind of miss playing the sax. Like I was decent at it. Like I wasn't on the sax, I was the best or anything like that. But all my music teachers, anybody I ever played with, they always liked my tone. They're like, man, you got a really, really good tone. You sound good on the sax. So I've been thinking recently. I'm like, man, I need to, try to pick up the saxophone again, just start playing it again. Even while I was in New York, I was meeting a bunch of people, and I was telling them like I used to play sax, and everybody wanted me to come and play sax and stuff with them. I remember I had met this guy named Ian Isaiah. He does a lot of work with this artist Blood Orange. And he had invited me out to like one of their jam sessions. He's like, oh, bro, we've been looking for a saxophonist, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I don't actually have a saxophone anymore. He's like, oh, damn, that's tough. That would have been nice to jam with you, though. And so I was just like, maybe I should just pick up this sax thing again.
Damn, dude, that was your opportunity because Blood Orange is fucking dope, dude. And
Yeah,
like, I mean, that's cool. Like you're talking it up with somebody, and it's like, hey, come and jam with us. But it's like, wait a minute though, bro. I used to play sax. I don't have the sax anymore.
right now, honestly, like I'm just here in New York and shit, having fun.
Hey, but that's cool that you've been thinking about getting back into it, dude. You totally should.
Yeah,
Try and save some money. Maybe buy a used one or some shit.
yeah, I was
You never
thinking
know.
about, yeah. see where these next couple months take me.
Yeah, that's cool. I've been getting back into bass, playing bass more, which is a
Okay.
lot of fun. I miss that shit, dude. And I just bought a looping pedal, so it's like just giving me, more inspiration and motive to play because it's like, oh, cool. Now I can play this shit back and then play something on top of it. So
Yeah.
it's cool. It's fun. I like it.
What's up, man?
Yeah. Are you working on any new music? You got any projects in the works?
So last year I kind of did a project, but I don't know. I've been like in like a space where I haven't necessarily been liking the music I've been making personally. So it's hard for me to put stuff out there when it's just like I kind of start losing the energy and the feel for it. Not to say that it's bad or anything, because I've played it for people and they be like, yo, like the shit's fire. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's just, I don't know, like the level where I am right now with my music is kind of like a love hate sort of thing. Not necessarily because I hate the work that I've been putting out, more or less that I'm not in love with it. And in turn for me, like not to be so stoked and hella excited and in love with it, I don't feel like it kind of deserves to see the light of day, if that makes sense. Even though music's not up to me as the consumer. It's, I do what I do as a creator, but the consumer is always going to decide what it is that they like and what they enjoy and what it is that they, want to get from it. So I've been trying to work past getting past my own mental block with the music again, because it had been a really long time. I take a very long hiatus from music, and then a lot of other stuff started happening in my life. When I moved when I moved to New York, I started getting back into music and stuff again. I was working with some new producers and engineers and stuff, and then I got the news with my mom being sick, and once that happened, I kind of put things off to the side again. And then she recently passed last year in June, and when all that had happened, I remember talking to her maybe a couple months before that. She was saying, she's like, I want you to do your music again. You're really good. I saw the joy in the things that it was bringing you. And so that's when I had wrote that project. But the project, it had like a lot of anger and a lot of talking about situations and things that were going on. And I don't know, as of right now in my life, I'm trying to move past the negativity. And so I have like a project where I guess I expressed a lot of that negativity and that emotion. And because I'm trying to move past, I don't really feel that in touch with it anymore. So I got a friend, he's a producer who I used to work with. Me and him and Rio, we are all in a group called Fang Cheetah. And I don't know, we've been like reconnecting. So he's been sending me some beats and stuff. So I've been doing some writing to that. I don't know if it's going to come to like an actual project or anything, but it's just another form for me to, start working on something else. But like I said, like I have an entire project that pretty much is done. That's just, sitting there and stuff.
Hey,
So I may release.
as long as you're, working on new stuff and practicing your craft and making shit, not everything has to get released or be put on the internet or see the light of day. Show a couple of homies, maybe they like it, whatever. You're still trying to you know let it grow on you and put it in the vault maybe a year from now, 2 years from now. Who knows, dude? You maybe you'll really like it, and then it's maybe it'll be the time to release that. So it's up to
Yeah,
you, as the creator and as the artist. It's you obviously you got to please the consumer and the crowd and the audience, but it's about the love and your creation at the end of the day. So it's
exactly.
as long as you're working and making new stuff, dude, that's all that matters. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that project was more like a cathartic exercise in order for me to get some stuff out that I had been holding in. Because like even like the whole like title of it, like I had titled it Morose. That was the name of the album and everything. And it was definitely more of a personal introspective of where I was in my life. And I kind of like that, you know, being more personal because even though like some of like my older projects like Blase and my first project, The Dollar Mike Music, they were very, very personal. I kind of took like a general approach with them as well so they can be more, I guess, like approached or more people can relate to it. Uh, I wanted to kind of tell like a story so like people can see themselves in their shoes instead of them, you know, reliving mine, you know. But this was definitely a lot more personal, a lot more specific to things going on in my life. And, you know, I kind of like that approach. But like I said, I'm trying to find exactly where I am right now in life so I'll know exactly where I want to be with the music.
Yeah, and you'll figure that out. It takes some time. Everybody's different. I still feel like I'm trying to figure out myself and everything going on in my life. And it's nice getting back into music because that's something since day one that I've always been, just so connected to and affectionate about. What is your production process like? How would you begin to write a beat or make a song?
So I'm mainly like a sample based production guy. I know a lot of people when they start in hip hop, they automatically go to drums and things like that. But I have more of a musical background, with saxophone and stuff like that. Actually knowing music and moods and stuff. And so I always start off with a mood or idea that I want to kind of convey. And so, even like how I look for samples, it's like, what type of mood am I in? What type of mood do I want the music to have? What type of feeling should it have? And so I'll start searching for samples and things based off of that. Um, and I'll either decide what type of sample based beat I'm going to do first. If it's going to be something that's heavily chopped up, or if I know like I want to use bits and pieces of stuff, that'll be a different process versus if I'm going for something that's strictly just straight loop based. And so primarily now, or like I say like my main style is definitely that heavy loop bass. Um, and so like I'll just try to find something that's very, very dope, but usually something simple that I could then morph and then add my own slices to kind of make it unique. But it always starts off with just like that very like dope feeling loop. I usually go for things that are extremely sparse or extremely epic. So it's like I never like really like play like the middle ground where it's like, oh yeah, it's like this kind of section, this and that. It's either gonna sound like super in your face or it's gonna sound super pulled back and like retreated and sparse. When I go for with doing drums, I always kind of try to mimic the drums that are already there into the beat. And I never really defer too far away because, like I said, I want to keep the character and the things that are in the sample. I'm trying to build up the mood. And so a lot of times I'll be choosing a bunch of drums. Like I'll have a kick drum that won't sound super spectacular out there in your face, but if you look at what I've done, like it's like 5 or 6 different sounds that I've layered and then EQ, set like volume adjustments and stuff because it's different pieces that I'm trying to pull out of each drum sound's character to match what's already there or to emphasize what's already there. And so I usually do that. Do that with like all my instruments. I usually just keep it very sparse for the drums. drums, snare, hi-hat. Sometimes I'll even, not add a snare or like do something like that. Just depending on what type of mood I'm going for, because like I said, I don't want the drums to be overdriving most of the time when I'm doing beats. I really want the music and the mood to kind of sing forth and stay out. Because the way I think about beats, like me rapping, the beat is basically supposed to serve as my canvas. You know, my main instrument when I'm doing full, like, my music is my voice. It's not necessarily the beat or like a specific hit or the drums or this and that. It's the voice. My voice is the main driving force whenever I'm doing my shit. And so I don't want to have anything that's going to detract or take away from, my voice. I want to make sure that I have enough room and space within the music to get my message across, enough room to play around and not feel like I can only do one sort of thing. Cause like after a while, like if you do like a beat and it could be like this nice, super crazy beat and sound dope as hell, but once you get it to the artist, they don't really have anything they can do with it. It's like, all right, well, I only have enough space within like this sonic collage to do this one thing. And sometimes, when I do music and stuff, I want to go from here to there and, flow in between or just do whatever I feel like is coming naturally to me. And the more that you have, I feel like within a beat, kind of the more restrictive that you become with your vocal instrument. Because if you think about it, like there's a sonic range that we can hear in. You go from this hertz to that hertz. And so everything has to sit within its own place, like when you do a mix and stuff like that. And so the same thing could be just thought about as a vocal canvas. If I've already got so much paint and things all over my canvas, when it's time for me to now come in and add my voice, I can only kind of, go where there are these small layers of blank spots. Versus if I have something that's a lot more open and a lot more free creatively, where it's just like, okay, here's a mood where it's just like I kind of did like a wash in the background on the canvas. Now I could come in with my lines and define everything to really make the art.
That's a really unique way to put it. I like that. It's like you're like a true artist. It's like you're painting with music.
Yeah, because you got to think of everything. Everything to me is like a canvas and a palette. I have a background in chemistry. That's what I went to school for. And so in chemistry, all you're doing is trying to balance things all the time. Like everything was about finding a balance. Like this goes to here, and that's how reactions and things are made. But all chemical equations, like your goal is to find the balance within the chemical equations, because you can't get something out of nothing. Like if I'm changing one thing to another state, everything is still there. It just gets rearranged. It's no creation or deletion of anything. So once you have something on the other end, you have to find out how did that get balanced out from all this other material. And so that's how I always look at, everything in life. You know, from like bartending, like I was bartending and things like that. When I do cocktails, balance is a very, very key part of the process. It has to make sense. I can't have anything just be too overpowering or too subdued. Everything has to have its own rightful place. Same thing with the music. Everything has to have its own rightful place. It has to be completely balanced out, because if there's something that's not, you're going to lose the complete effect.
Because at the end of the day, like you said, you're trying to tell a story or, make a painting or whatever the case may be. It's, there's multiple aspects that go into it, and they bounce off each other and play with each other to create the full effect. And
Exactly.
it, it's got to be balanced. It's got to be. So
Exactly. Yeah, even like when you get into the parts of sculpting an album, you got to have balance in between your songs. You can't have like six super crazy hard hitting beats back to back to back to back, and then have like, all right, here go these four like super mellow or like melancholy songs and this and that. You have to have a balance and a flow between everything that goes on. Um,
yeah, balance and flow. You got to have that balance and flow.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's a big thing that happens with a lot of people's albums that they suffer from is because they don't know how to find that balance in between their music. A lot of people can make a lot of songs, but not a lot of people can put together a concise work of art because they're either themselves one note, very, very flat, can only do one thing and stay in that one pocket, or they make a lot of different stuff and don't know how to make it all come together. So I've been quarantined for like a while. I don't know if you know this, but yeah, I'm currently on house arrest and stuff. I had a DUI accident in the in July of 2019, and so I've kind of been on house arrest since then, dealing with that. And so quarantine had kind of already been a part of my life, but most of the day was really spent taking care of my mom until she had passed. And so, like, that was my main focus with everything. But since then, I've been just trying to make sure that I keep myself busy and my mind active. So I built a studio. Like, I'm staying with my family members right now, and there's a spare room. So I built a studio in there, and pretty good quality and everything. Great isolation. It worked for what I needed to do. I do. I've been trading, stocks and forex, and pretty much a lot of my day goes focused to studying and chart work, and I have been recently getting back to like a more habitual routine of everything that I want to do. So, I wake up in the morning, do my prayers and things, clean up, shower, study the charts for a bit, and then I try to make sure that I write at least one verse a day, even if it's not like completed, just to get out that creative energy and put myself in like a creative sort of mindset. Because I feel like if you get your creative juices going in the morning, it'll push out throughout the other factors in your life throughout that day. So I feel like a lot of things that happen with people is that they forget to think creatively in situations. You're so used to just going out and doing. And when it really comes down to it, a lot of problems are solved creatively. It's not through a specific like logical stance or a straightforward approach. You have to be able to think creatively in order for you to like really get to true solutions and things in your life. And so I feel like whenever I start off the morning getting those, creative juices going, it's now easier for me to solve things that happen and come up in my life. And so, yeah, that's pretty much been it. Started exercising a bit more, but I just had a procedure on my arm, so I had to, cut that out for a little bit. But I'll be back to that. And I'm about to buy a rower as well, so I'm gonna be fucking getting my row on. Just trying to stay healthy, trying to stay fit, trying to stay creative, trying to keep my money and stuff stacking. So when everything is concluded with what's going on in my life, I could really start moving forward and doing things the way that I want to again. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's a good habit to get into, to get those creative juices flowing first thing in the morning, because it's gonna put you in a good mood, and it's hopefully gonna make your day better than if say you weren't doing something creative, so or just starting the morning off without it. So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's you built your own studio in the spare room. Remember when you made a little studio in the closet at the Sheffield
Yeah.
crib?
Yeah, dog.
You're like, you always got to have some sort of little space. What, even if it's just like two mattresses in the corner of a room, you know, like
Yeah.
you're gonna have your own little studio. Like that's
Yeah.
cool.
Because yeah, you know, like even like beyond you know, when I went to school for chemistry, when I went to school at Columbia, I was doing, you know, audio arts and acoustics, you know, so it was all about sound design and like designing spaces and stuff like that. So I always try to make sure I put whatever knowledge I get into some type of use, you know. It's like I learned how to like treat rooms and do all this shit, like make sure that I actually do it. So everybody's always so amazed, like, man, bro, like you always like make a studio, you always like find this and that. I'm like, yeah, you know, like I have the knowledge, I'm going to use it.
Right. You know, you gotta take advantage of that knowledge. Like, you know, can't just be sitting on that noggin. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, man.
um, have you learned anything new about yourself during this unique time?
Um, I learned I wasn't as disciplined as I always thought I was. I learned that I have to make sure that I continue to put in the work and not feeling entitled, because I feel like that was a, well, I can't even say I feel, that was definitely a big detriment to what happened to me before when I was making music and why I kind of took a break and stuff, because I felt entitled to what required work. And because of my entitlement, I decided that I didn't need to work. It's like, you know, it's just supposed to come to me, you know, like I'm good at music, you know, I'm a dope rapper. Everybody says this, everybody says that. I got fans and I got all this stuff. Like, there's no reason I shouldn't be famous, or there's no reason I shouldn't, you know, have success from this. And it requires work. Everything in life that's worth something, you have to work for it. There, no matter how talented or how great you might feel, or how great somebody might be telling you are, you're always going to have to put in the work and really get it done. And so that's what I truly did learn from this. And also that there's some problems and things I can't solve. You know, with losing my mother, you know, I've always been the person that I kind of felt like I had the answers to everything, where, you know, if somebody else can do it, I can do it. If there was anything that can get done, I should be able to do it. And it was like, unfortunately, I couldn't cure cancer. You know, I couldn't keep my mother here. I couldn't fully, you know, accomplish that goal. And that was like the first time in life I really like felt like a true failure, because there are some things that I might not have succeeded at, but I never felt like I couldn't do it. And this was like the first time I was like, damn, like there was nothing I could really do in this situation. So like learning like that true surrender and true, how they say like there's some things that are really out of your control, you know, I really did learn that it's like there are some things that I just cannot control, and I can't beat myself up about them. But the things that I can, you know, make sure that you have a positive impact with it. So that was a big thing. I don't know. This whole quarantine has been definitely a big learning experience with a lot of stuff. Just because, like I said, you know, I was in jail for a bit. I was isolated. I had so much time to think. Even like right now, like I'm completely sober. Like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything. And so just seeing how long that like I was like under the influence of stuff, and coming up out of it, and just like the way that my brain and my thinking works, has been weird. Even like the other day, I had went and I recorded again for like the first time in, I don't know, since last summer. And I was like, wait, I'm like here, like I'm rapping and recording sober. I'm like, I don't know if I've ever been in the studio sober, like ever, like in my entire life, because that's just a part of the studio. Somebody's always got like some beer or something to drink or like some weed and this and that. And I was talking to my homie, I was like, yeah, man, like, I don't know how I even like feel like recording sober. Like this shit feels awkward because it's something that I've never ever done before. And so that's just like another like learning part and adjustment and just a realization where I was like, yeah, like I was definitely, I don't know, something different, but it's cool to just really be able to sit back and not only reflect, but to apply your reflections.
Yeah, no, that's important, and I think that's the big part of life. You know, doing something that you've done before, but in a different way, or for your circumstance, being sober and not under the influence. Which at the end of the day, as long as you're working and practicing and making something that you love, and working on that, that's really all that matters, whether you're under the influence or not. And
Yeah.
you just got to remember that. You just got to put in the work. And so just keep working, no matter, even if it feels like weird or different, keep pushing past that. And it's you're gonna maybe feel something different that you haven't felt before. And
Yeah, because
it's a big part of life. So
I will say that I like my sober writing. It's definitely a lot more introspective and deeper, especially because I'm trying not to write how I used to. Like I don't really like talk about smoking and things like that anymore. Like that was like a major part of what I used to write because it was a major part of my day. Like when were we ever not smoking type shit? So me having to, I wouldn't necessarily like say like a creative challenge, but like that's knowledge that like, all right, you want to make sure that you're representing yourself now instead of what has been and like what you used to do. Me knowing that and then approaching my writing has been forcing me like out of like my comfort zone into another zone of creativity. And I kind of like that.
yeah, I mean, it's good to be pushed outside your comfort zone, because how else are you going to discover different things, new things about yourself, and you know something that you might like that you never tried before, something different. So it's important. um where do you see yourself 2 years from now? Do you have any short-term goals or dreams or anything like that?
Um, Personally, I want to build a real estate portfolio. Want to get at least 10 units right now. My goal is to have 100 doors by the end of, by the time I'm like 35, I want to have like 100 doors. But, I'm still starting off small. I'm putting myself in a position to buy my first multifamily towards the end of this year. Um, and like I said, like I want to build passive income. So those are like those personal goals. Um, just want to travel more. I want to see more of the world. I want to have a birthday in Japan. I definitely want to put out an amazing work of music. Um, and it's funny, like I have like a list like on my wall and stuff. Like I have like a picture of my own Mikhail. I have a collage that I did. And then I have, my life development plans and stuff like that. So like it's broken down like 4 different things. It's got like life development, financial planning, educational pursuits, and then personal goals. And then like the last thing on like the list of personal goals is make 1,000,000 people smile. And so however I can do that, I'll be happy. I don't know if it's going to be through what form of art it's going to be, because I like music and things right now, Like recently, I've been thinking about like, man, maybe I'll try my hand at acting. Like I was pretty good at that when I was a child. I remember like being in plays and stuff like that. I had a acting coach, and she was like, yo, like you're so good at this. Like you know, like I want to like help you out and do more and more stuff. But you know, as you grow older, you don't really think like as a child, like if that's not like your focus, like yo, like all right, boom, let me like go and start acting and things more.
Hey, well, you know, I can help you with that. I'm working on some different shit, and you know, I need to be behind the camera more, and I'm gonna be needing some actors. So,
All right.
you know, we'll talk about that. But you already know, like we'll do that shit. And also, I've always wanted to go to Japan, so let me know when you go to Japan, because I'll go there with you. Like,
For sure.
dude, Japan will be so sick. I've always wanted to go to Japan.
Yeah, man, I gotta see what the ramen game is like.
Dude,
that's the goal.
Hell yeah, man. And bright lights. There's a lot of bright lights in Japan, dude. Like
Yeah,
I just pictured like, you know, the neon lights in Tokyo, and like you talk about big city, like what bigger city is there than Tokyo? Like,
yeah, man, like the whole shit is just layers upon layers of like different shit. I love like all like movies about like Tokyo from like a foreigner's perspective, because it really does show you like how like different that place is than like any other place like in the world, kind of. And so many like small like subgroups and subcultures and like different like niches that you could just find yourself in. And I don't know, I like the culture. I feel like it's a lot of stuff to learn there. And then ramen, I fucking love ramen.
we would be filming the whole time in Japan. Like we would make a documentary about it. Like it'd be a whole fucking thing. Like,
Yeah.
but that shit would be dope. We gotta make that happen for sure. But
you know, and we both fucking Capricorn babies, so.
Oh yeah, shit, dude. We could definitely make that happen. Spending our birthdays out there.
Exactly.
Damn. All right. Well, we gotta. Once this whole fucking COVID pandemic shit, you know, comes to a slowdown or whatever. Once things are a little bit figured out, we'll look into starting to plan that trip, because shit. That's all I got, dude. I'm gonna probably gonna be going to bed here soon.
Yeah. Same with me, bud.
But yeah, dude, it's good chatting, man. We'll
always
do this shit soon. So
yeah, no doubt. Just keep me posted on it. You know, whenever you get everything edited and posted up, I'll make sure to share it around too.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Are you still on Twitter?
No, bro, I don't have any social media right now. Well, I have an Instagram. I'm gonna make one though. I'm gonna do like a Twitter and a Facebook again, just because you know, I've been, like I said, like I've been like trading and shit like that, and it's like a lot of like good information out on Twitter, and I just need to like start, you know, promoting myself again. But I got kind of sick. Well, two things. I was getting harassed after that accident, and people were like sending me like messages like my IG and shit like that, and so I had just deleted it all. But you know, like with Twitter and Facebook especially, I hate other people's opinions, right. You know, and it's just like it's always so in your face and shit. And like honestly, I feel better the less that I consume, the less other people's shit and like this and that. Like even like straight up like for my phone, like I had Bleacher Report on there. I deleted Bleacher Report off of my phone because like I just didn't want to have the constant notifications and like bombardment of information or like people like telling me stuff. Like, what if I don't want to hear about bad news? You know, like it was so weird because the other day I was looking and I was like, oh shit, this person died, that person died, like this and that happened. Like, oh fuck, like I really haven't been in any type of like media loop, so I don't know what else is going on. Like I just kind of like stay really contained and focused on myself because it's too much other shit, you know.
And as you like, that's all that matters, dude. I feel like a lot of people need to do exactly what you did and just like need to delete this shit off their phone. Like, focus on yourself. Don't
Yeah,
don't be spending so much time on social media. Like, focus on yourself. That's the most important thing, right? Yourself. Like, your
exactly.
family, the people around you that care about you. Like,
Yeah.
it's so at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But yeah, with that, I'm gonna end this chat because I feel like I could just talk to you forever. Like,
Yeah, I'm about to say we'll just be talking and shit, but no,
yeah,
I get you, bro.
like it's already an hour's already gone by and it feels like we just been chatting for 10 minutes. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll have to do this shit again soon. And yeah, dude. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on this, and we'll go from there.
All right, for sure.
But yeah, dude, take it easy. Good to see you, and stay healthy, dude. We'll talk soon.
All right. Yeah, you too, bro.
Peace.
The UrbanEarworm.com